The Deliverance is a story inspired by a real family's experience while living in a rental house in Gary, Indiana. The inspiration came from Latoya Ammons, her 3 kids, and the grandmother, Rose Campbell. The names and the location of the house has been changed to protect their identity. Now, was the house really haunted, or was this some type of cry for help? If you're a subscriber, then you already know how we get down. I'm about to reveal things that were not included in the movie, but for good reason. Let's talk about it. In November 2011, the Ammons family moved into the house, soon after which they started hearing strange footsteps on the basement stairs and even saw shadowy figures in the living room at random times throughout the day. As per the reports, the house was even swarmed with black flies, similar to what we see in the film.
I noticed it was like horse flies on the inside porch, and this was, the beginning of winter, so that was very odd to me. We would lock the basement door, and you would hear something hit the door, boom, and you would hear dogs barking. No dogs outside. No dogs when you go look. No dogs.
The reason for all these eerie occurrences technically remains a mystery to date if you view life with pure science only. After a series of traumatizing incidents, including the kids not attending school, the Ammons family finally vacated the house in June 2012 and moved to Indianapolis, where they live with Latoya's brother, Kevin. As mentioned in the film, the real-life Latoya had also lost custody of her 3 kids after a Child Protective Services officer reported the matter. However, 6 months later in November 2012, she regained custody and was reunited with her family, just like Ebony Jackson was in the movie.
They didn't even pick it up to see what it was. You see what it is?
Yeah, it's a Holy Family.
That's Christ.
Is that an ornament, man?
Mm-hmm. That's Christ in the manger.
Yeah, that's what I thought. We saw salt on the floor.
Yeah.
What's that from?
My daughter.
Okay, was she trying to bless the house with salt?
Mm-hmm.
Did the priest do that? With the salt or anything?
He said he's going to.
Okay. He
My
did.
daughter did that.
Okay.
He said he's going to come to the house to try to bless the house with salt. And then he said he's going to, if necessary, if he follows her, but she think it's going to follow us, he said he would come to the apartment that we finally got now in Indianapolis. He said he would come out there and do it too. I don't know if he will or not, because he's trying to act like he's scared. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I just always felt like it was something under there.
Okay.
I never
Yeah,
saw
she,
anything, but
daughter
I
left
always
the
felt
kid
it.
in there. Yeah.
I always felt like it was something under there.
Okay, underneath the stairs.
The local priest, Father Michael, who was portrayed as Reverend Bernice James in the film, had performed multiple exorcisms on the Ammons family to finally get rid of the demons so the family could move on and start a peaceful life somewhere. Father Michael believed that the previous owners of the house might have performed a conjuring ritual in the basement that accidentally opened a portal to hell, which eventually led to a demonic presence in the house. In the Deliverance ending, the film portrayed a similar demon hole in the basement, which could imply that it was the pit that caused all the unnatural occurrences. Here's where things take a turn. In 2014, a professional paranormal investigator, Zach Baggins, purchased what he calls the Demon House from the original landlord for $35,000 after he heard about it on TV. As soon as he arrived at the property, he started conducting a series of experiments to figure out the real reason for the paranormal activities. As per the police investigation, Indiana officer John Grushka recovered a fingernail and women's underwear buried under the stairs of the basement. It seemed like someone was meddling with the demonic powers and accidentally or purposely unleashed the curse into the house. Baggins found out that Latoya had an abusive ex-boyfriend that might have something to do with the hauntings, but the boyfriend refused to make any statements, and it turned into a dead end. In the movie, we never saw any police visiting the house, because Lee Daniels initially established that Ebony's character had a criminal record, which was the reason why she never contacted the police to report anything in the first place. However, in real life, a local police officer named Captain Charles Austin had visited the house after getting a call from Child Protective Services. At the property, Austin recalls feeling an eerie presence and therefore decided to look around the house for the cause of it, but physically finding nothing. Things changed once he got in his patrol car and made a phone call.
Something bizarre happened.
All of a sudden, while I'm involved in this conversation, the AM/FM radio went to static and turned up very loud. And it said, "You in there?" And the person on the phone say, "What the hell was that?" And I say, "I don't know."
What was your reaction?
I was in shock.
Something else to note, the hospital scene where we see Ebony's youngest kid, Andre, walking backwards up the wall actually happened in real life. A CPS officer, Valerie Washington, mentioned as Cynthia Henry in the film, witnessed a 7-year-old Armani LaShawn grinning like a demon and then walking up the wall backwards. Fortunately, Valerie was not alone. The kid's grandmother, Rosa, and a few other doctors and psychologists witnessed the same thing in the hospital. And the incident was actually recorded on camera, although I'm not sure why that video has not surfaced yet.
This boy was in one of the emergency room areas. He was kind of growling, and his grandmother was holding his hands and trying to coax him back. And all of a sudden, he started, she was kind of backing him up and toward the wall, and then he started to walk up the wall backwards to get a flip over her head, and there was the psychologist and the social service worker in that room that saw that, and they ran out and got the security, and the security called the chaplain, and he called me, and they got the police involved and all.
If you remember in the Deliverance ending, Bernice James mentioned a family that lived in the house in 1993. Janelle's young son Trey was possessed by the demon in the house, and even though doctors tried their best to find the cause of his strange behavior, no one could find anything wrong with the boy. In the end, Janelle ended up unaliving her entire family and then doing the same to herself. This incident was loosely inspired by real-life events. Meet Mika, who appeared in Zach's Demon House documentary. She revealed that she lived in the same house with her mother and her brother in the 90s. Her brother used to live in the basement, and he later unalived himself for reasons still unknown. Soon after her visit to the house, some 20 years later, to talk with Zach, Mika's daughter, Erica, tried to unalive herself, which made Baggins believe that indeed something strange was happening with the house. So for the documentary, Zach invited multiple people to the property to film or conduct research in the house, but almost all of them started losing their minds, getting sick, or becoming injured. Here are a few examples. One of Zach's cameramen started acting strange back at their hotel room and later ran to the elevator and started fighting with something no one else could see. Dr. Barry Taft came to the house to investigate if any man-made chemicals or gases that could cause hallucinations were present. Weeks later, he suffered organ failure unexpectedly. Valerie Washington, one of the CPS workers, needed therapy for what she witnessed. A second CPS case manager suffered third-degree burns from a motorcycle accident. Captain Austin was shot during a home invasion not long after leaving the house. Mika's daughter Erica attempted to permanently injure herself a couple of days after they left the house. Debbie Constantino, a fellow ghost hunter who has been featured on Zach's TV show multiple times along with her husband, was unalived by her husband, who then unalived himself. This happened a few months after she attempted to make contact by recording the voice of whatever was in that house. It's the last recording Zach has of her. Zach decided to abandon his research and destroy the house so that its evil could get buried underneath the rubble. After the entire fiasco and public backlash, Latoya Ammons decided to live a private life, not only to protect her own mental health, but also for the sake of her children. She has since stayed out of the spotlight and isn't active on any type of social media platform. On October 8th, 2021, at the age of 17. LaToya's youngest son, Armani, passed away. No one knows exactly what happened to him except his family. Let's all wish them peace and prosperity. Thanks for watching, and see you next time you want to know.
Demons can actually possess you, use you, so you can give them souls, and then make you take your own life, So, I mean, it's real. And a lot of people don't think about it. They live their lives day to day, and you never think that it would be you.